All right, folks, today we've got an absolutely incredible guest joining us. This guy is a true modern day adventurer, Guinness World Record holder, and an absolute badass when it comes to raising awareness for something that matters to all of us, our planet. Ali Abdo is his name, and he's on a mission to not only break records, but also inspire people around the globe to take action against climate change. He's traveled thousands of miles on an e-bike. You heard that right, an e-bike. Through deserts, cities, and everything in between. He's showing what's possible with sustainable tech and sheer determination. We're talking about grit, vision, and the human drive to do something bigger than yourself. Welcome, Ali, to the podcast. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm doing fine. What about you?
I'm very good. It's a bit cold here. It's first day of snow in France, but you just told me that it's sunny out there. Is it warm as well?
Yeah, it is nice starting today.
Yeah. How was your trip? Tell us. You were just in Azerbaijan for the COP29. How did it go?
Actually, my ride or my initiative called the Ride to 2030. This is the initiative name, but on this initiative, we have the most famous activity we are doing every year, which is the Ride to United Nations Climate Change Conference, which is COP. So this year it is the third season of the Ride to COP, which is COP29. We did it for COP27 and from COP27 to COP28 and from COP28 to COP29. So it's the third ride for us from COP to COP. And all what I'm trying to do is bringing COP to the ground, to people, maybe 50, 60,000 person attending the conference of climate change every year, which is less than 0.1% of the total population. So most of people don't know about what's going on in climate change conference, or even it is the first time for them to hear about climate change. And most of them don't know the direct impact of climate change on their life. So that is a right to COP. It is a movement related to climate change conference, trying to break barriers and breaking Guinness records as well,
Yeah.
to create a momentum and understanding of what's climate change and how it is impacting every one of us life, and impacting our kids' future. So that's the ride in a nutshell.
That's very good. When you say we, are you traveling with a team, or can you walk us through the process?
I'm an Alexandrian guy. I'm an Iskandarani زي ما بيقولوا. So we used it to say we. Knowing about Alexandrian people, we used it to say we, not I.
Yeah.
And he also met me and my team and my partner and supporter, and everyone is behind such amazing initiative. So I ride a lot, but a lot of people involved in getting this ride done. Um, the ride is not an individual effort. During the past three rides, we worked with over 14 or 15 partners, including United Nations organizations, regional organizations like the Arab League of States, governmental organizations like Ministry of Youth and Sports, Ministry of Environment, international organizations, private sector, NGOs, individuals. So we are including everyone in such action. And yeah, usually I say we, not I.
No, but I think your effort, you've done such a big effort that you deserve the we, the grandiose was perfect. You talk about partners. Are these sponsors or partners? In what sense are they partners to the initiative?
Okay, so we don't accept sponsors. Okay,
Okay.
we accept, okay, as we need people truly believe in what we are doing, as we are doing something exceptional. If we applied the terms and the condition of a sponsor on what we are doing, you will find no one is eligible to fit in this place. I have been working in marketing communication, developing a number of projects during my period in IBM as a CSI manager. So to acquire a sponsor or to attract a sponsor to an event, you need to have a specific venue, a specific date, a specific plan. Everything need to be planned, which is not the case on the ride. Mainly we don't have a solid plan. We have changes every day. Sometimes the weather is not good enough or it is too risky to ride on. Sometimes we are stuck on borders for 2, 3, 10 days. So we are looking always for people who believe in what we are doing and who understand the nature of what we are doing, and elastic enough and flexible enough to support us in circumstances and different situations. During the bus trip, we stuck on Azerbaijani-Georgian borders for 10 days. Can you
Wow.
imagine? So, due to the lost time, we had to cancel some events, we had to reschedule some appointments. So I prefer the word of partners. They are a partner of success, they are a partner of the achievement.
Exactly, because they understand what you're going through, and they are an understanding partner in this. Let me. You just said that sometimes it's hard. You got stuck 10 days at the border. I'm sure you went through. I've been following you. I've seen that sometimes the e-bike. You had an issue with the e-bike. You had to get it repaired. What drives you to embark on such extreme? How did you come up with the idea? Have you always been such an adventurer, or
No.
did you wake up one day and you decided to just jump on an e-bike for no reason? There must be a deciding moment in your life that led you to this.
Okay. Let me tell you about my background. Okay. As I've been working as infrastructure architect and application consultant for more than
Or infrastructure in terms of like buildings, or are you talking?
technology, no,
Right.
information technology. And I was working in IBM for 14 years or something like that. And most of my work was remotely. So I was spending all my day at home working on my computer, living at home. And yeah, it was odd to go to the street to do something. Mainly at weekend, I go to visit my mother and buying some stuff for home. At some moment, I got tired of this kind of life, and I was trying to find a method or a way that helped me to explore the world. And just to know, I'm an introvert person. Yeah. I'm not a person who's saying hi to everyone, communicating with everyone. At this moment, I found that, from my point of view, at this moment, that the best way to explore the world is a motorcycle. So I spent around 6 months reading about motorcycles, reading reviews, asking people, inspecting some bikes. And by the way, at this moment, I was not able to drive a motorcycle. It was really about motorcycles. So after 6 months of research and reading and blah blah blah, I bought my first motorcycle,
Yeah.
and I was not able to ride it, so I brought it on a truck to the home.
Well, that's a funny.
Yeah. So after I bought my first motorcycle, it took a week to learn how to start it. Even to start it, not to ride it. It took a week to learn how to start. And I taught myself how to ride a motorcycle, seeing some videos on YouTube, with watching tutorials, blah. Then I managed to ride the motorcycle. And after a few weeks, I successfully received my driving license. Then I started to get in touch with motorcycles community in Egypt and to communicate with some motorcycle riders. I found that they are organizing a ride from Cairo to Bahariya Oasis. If you know Bahariya Oasis, it is something on the Western Desert. Is an Oasis, and so the Western Desert, where is a black desert, is a white desert, the crystal mountains, and this kind of sightseeing. So I decided to join them on this ride.
Are these bikers like?
Well, yeah, this was around 10 years ago or something like that.
Right.
I will tell you when I switched to e-bikes.
Okay. So yeah, you haven't still started with an e-bike.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. It was the first ride for me. It was like 800 kilometers or something like that on both sides. And this ride helped me to discover that I don't know anything about the world. Found that I don't know anything about the world. I thought that I know a lot. I read a lot, and spending a lot of time online communicating with different people from different countries. So I had the idea that I know a lot, but after this ride, I discovered that I don't know anything about the real world.
Very humbling.
Yeah. At this moment, I decided that I will drive my motorcycle to visit all Egyptian cities on my motorcycle, just to realize who we are and where we are living and what's going on around us. Yeah, I decided to discover the country I'm living in. So after this ride, I started to visit different cities, doing different rides, and I started to post about my rides, the experiences, information, the knowledge, history about different places on my social media. And I realized that a lot of people sharing this issue with me. They don't know about anything about the countries they are living in. So I think this happened in 2015 or something like that. So I launched an initiative called Around Egypt on a Motorcycle. So I was going to different locations, telling people about how you can go there, what places you need to visit, the road conditions, the kind of activities, blah, blah, blah.
Was there like a local initiative? What was your goal? Was your goal to attract tourism from abroad or just to raise awareness or Egyptians' awareness about their own country?
Actually, both, I found that more than I did like a research or a small study actually. I found that more than 70% of Egyptians didn't visit more than four governments of Egypt. So most of Egyptians don't know anything about the countries that you're living in. There is some specific places usually we don't know about it, Luxor, Aswan, pyramids, I mean specifics. Otherwise, no one know about the Western Desert. No one know about Abu Simbel. I have an exciting story about Abu Simbel, which really helped me a lot to appreciate the Egyptian history and the Egyptian culture. I was doing my first world record on 2016, and due to the rules of the world records that I can't use the same road again. So the only remaining road is to go to Abu Simbel. It is the last thing on Egyptian borders. So I arrived there before the sunset. Actually, the Guardian received us and he started to explain about the history of Abu Simbel. And during his speech, he mentioned that downstairs, there is the old location of Abu Simbel temple. I started to look to the temple and how huge it is. It is really huge. And I started to look at the water where he is pointing with his fingers. This is the old location. And looking to him, this guy must be kidding. And I didn't start the discussion. It was late, and I had to go back to Aswan again, which is around 300 kilometer to drive overnight on this rural area, which is a little bit risky. But I got some pictures to comment that I was here. And once I arrived at home, I was checking the pictures, and I found the picture of Abu Simbel. So I started to look at the story of Abu Simbel. For me, it was the first time to know that Abu Simbel moved from this area to another area. I realized it is called the greatest transformation process all over the history. I found that more than 30 countries cooperated to move this temple from this location to another location. At this moment, I started to realize how the Egyptian heritage is very precious. It's something unique. It's something that we need to appreciate. And I started to learn more about the Egyptian history, the Egyptian culture, and so on. I realized that all the world is appreciating what we have. We need to start learning how to appreciate it and how to promote it. That's what happened with Abu Simbel. So moving forward to the e-bikes, in 2019, I started a partnership with United Nations Development Program to promote sustainable development goals in Egypt through my rides. And from
You reach out to them or did they reach out to you?
there was a common friend who is introduced me to them. So during the period of 2013, starting riding to 2018 or 19, I managed to achieve two Guinness records.
Started following you as well online, I guess. Like you started
Yeah.
following.
And I started to have about the media, a lot of media interviews, TV interviews, a lot of media coverage, social media coverage. And yeah, in 2019, we had a partnership to promote sustainable development goals in Egypt. And I found that to promote sustainable development goals, you need to use a sustainable transportation method, which is a bike or an e-bike. For me, as a motorcyclist, I choose the e-bike, but yeah. At this moment, I was sponsored by an Italian company. It is called Energica, one of the largest electric motorcycles manufacturers. And in 2020, I received my motorcycle in Egypt, and we had a plan to launch an initiative called 100 Egypt. 100 Egypt means 100 different story about Egypt related to sustainable development goals in different sectors, different pillars, education, health, manufacturing, consumption, agriculture. So this initiative meant to have like a 100 short video, a 100 story about Egypt in different categories. Also, we managed to have a sponsorship or partnership with 8 ministries in Egypt, in addition to a lot of organizations. It was a massive initiative, actually, and this initiative was planned to be kicked off at 22 February 2020, which is the sunrise on Ramses on Abu Simbel. And the start point was Abu Simbel Temple. At this moment and at this specific date, a lot of international media gathered there to witness the sunrise on Ramses statue. But as you remember, in the mid of February, we had a COVID. So the total world is shutting down.
You chose the moment to do it.
It was a special moment. It was a special moment and a special date. We spent more than 1 year of planning, communication, alignment, a lot of work actually. It was a huge initiative, mainly with a partnership with 8 ministries, half of the government itself, UN organizations, global organizations, and so on. So by the mid of February, the world has stopped working. No one is replying. No one is on the street. People started to be concerned about their lives, not sustainability or it's. So unfortunately, it is still like a dream for me to do this project again. In
I'll come back with you.
Yeah, with pleasure, sure. So after few months, yeah, things started to be normal again. So I started to use my motorcycle for a similar cause or a parts of the initiative itself. The first one was to promote sustainable development goals in Egypt, especially the electric cars. At this moment in Egypt, the electric cars was something new. No one know about electric cars. No one know about the charging stations, how to charge. Can I use it to travel? Even we started to use, if to hear words like if it is out of charge is what you will do. You will هتعدي على البطارية عارف it?
Yeah.
Things like that. So I decided to do something on World Environment Day. I drove my motorcycle, my electric motorcycle from Alexandria to Ritzy and back again.
I'll sorry that for
On
no.
both sides, 1,000 kilometers
Wow.
in one
That's
day.
from Alex to the Red Sea.
Yes, and come back.
One way or both ways? Going there and back or just one way?
Going there and come back.
Okay.
So you like the borders of Ritzy, Yafarana city, something like that.
Okay.
And during this ride, we had different message like you can travel an electric vehicle for 1,000 kilometers in one day. You can find the charging stations on the road. So I was stopping by each charging station, showing people the charging station, how you charge and how you use it and how to locate it. Okay. And it was like a message. You can depend on electric cars, as a lot of people were concerned about using electric cars. Can I use it to travel? What will happen? How can I charge it? What is the distance? What is the range? A lot of questions, the usual questions when you have something new on the ground with you.
That's normal even here in Europe, I think. But that was back in 2020, 2021?
2020,
2020. Okay.
half of 2020.
Was it challenging? Like now, actually, you just give me the idea. Like I'm wondering, was it easy, or did you recharge the batteries? What kind of limitations did you have, or surprises even?
It was a pleasant experience, by the way. No challenges at all. And if you plan well, you will face the minimal challenges. I already located the locations of the charging stations, and I was monitoring the range I have on my bike. So I know well where I will stop to take a break and charge my bike. going online or going live to tell people about where I am and how I am charging. It was a blessing experience. And at this moment, I realized how convenient the e-bike is. I drove for 1,000 kilometers and I returned home like I did nothing. You know,
Wow.
the normal motorcycles, the gas motorcycles, coming with a heat, coming with a vibration, coming with a noise from the exhaust. The electric bikes come with nothing of this. So I returned home, and I didn't left home. I was fresh. I was ready to do other things. It was a pleasant experience. At this moment, I realized that this e-bike can do more. They still have a lot of capabilities to discover. So after a few months, I decided to break the first Guinness record on electric vehicles in 24 hours. I decided to replicate the experience, but in different circumstances, and document it at Guinness Book of Records. So
What was the previous one that you wanted to break? Can you tell us about it? What was the duration and where did it happen?
it is a new world record. No one did that before.
Oh, so you were the
First time for anyone to drive an e-vehicle for 24 hours. It was the first
non-stop,
world. Yeah, it's not non-stop. It is a continual journey for 24 hours.
awake, without sleep for 24.
Yeah, you don't sleep and you shouldn't stop. Actually, you can't stop, but you are allowed to stop to charge. It's okay. Yeah, just give you like some rules. You have a 24 hours on a stopwatch and you have a minimum kilometer to do more.
And who keeps track, Ali? Who keeps track of this? Do you have a camera or like who makes sure that you're not cheating? I've always wondered this.
Sure.
Okay.
Actually, it is a very sophisticated, detailed process. Okay, let's decide, or let's assume that we are doing again a new Guinness record. So, and we will go through the process together now.
Love to.
First thing, you need to submit a proposal to Guinness. That I need to break this record to achieve what, or to promote what, or even it is a personal achievement.
You send them an email or do you call them?
It is an online application. You need to create an account on Guinness website, and you need to search the current records if the record you are planning to achieve is something already on the records or not. And if not, you can propose a new type, which is a little bit different process. Let's assume that there is a record, okay? Yeah, let's avoid technical things now.
Yeah.
Let's assume that you found the title you need to break. So you will apply to break this record, providing more information about where you will attempt that, when, and why you will do it. Such process can take around 3 months till you have an approval or receiving more questions from them. Maybe they need to understand more about your attempt. Let's assume that you received the approval. So by the approval, you will receive 2 documents. One of them called the rules and the guidelines, and the second one called how to collect evidence. First rule guidelines is controlling the attempt itself. For my situation here, for the 24 hours, I was not allowed to do this attempt on public roads. I had to choose a racing track or a closed road because they assume if you will ride for 24 hours, you will speed up more than the legal speed, or you will be sleepy, which will be risky for other people. So you are not allowed to do that on public roads. So it was a challenge to find a racetrack in Egypt or to find a road in a good condition that could be closed. That is a part of the process. Let's see. I'm trying to be focused on the process itself, just to give you an idea about how to document it. So after you apply all the rules and the conditions about the motorcycle, about the road itself, about the conditions, the safety, many things. In addition to your communication, like for example, you're not allowed to promote for alcoholic drinks during your attempt at doing such things. Your responsibility about that thing. So you are responsible for everything. As a world record attempter, you are responsible for people even on the venue with you. You need to make sure that everything is safe, everything on place. So when it comes to evidence, how you can monitor that, let me tell you in one word, there is no way to cheat on trust. Okay, there is no way. No.
Okay.
Because first thing, your attempt need to be recorded in video for a continuous 24 hours. You need to have a CCTV camera or a monitoring camera.
Yeah, a GoPro maybe?
Yeah, GoPro, CCTV, different. They don't put any conditions on that, but you need to provide a 24 hours recording for your attempt. Including everything, even charge.
Who brings it? Who provides it, or they send you a camera? Like, how does?
No. You are responsible for providing the material.
Interesting.
It's your call, you know. They just define some prerequisites and you need to fulfill it. Okay. In my case, I was using a home monitoring camera. I found it is the optimum solution to have something recording for 24 hours. I mounted a home monitoring Wi-Fi camera on my motorcycle, attached it to a large power bank, making sure that it has a sufficient space to record for 24 hours. That's one condition. The other condition is to have pictures for every hour, 10 pictures per hour, okay, in different locations of the attempt. Other condition is to have witnesses who understand what you are doing with yani, background about racing, biking, traveling, something like that. Each witness not allowed to work for more than 4 hours. So every 4 hours, you need to change the witness with a new team of witnesses. And not on yani, you can't have only one witness, at least there is two witnesses at the same time recording everything happened. He completed a round. He stopped for a flat tire. He stopped for a pray. He stopped to drink. You know, every detail need to be recorded on the witness statement. In addition to that, the track itself should be certified by an engineer, someone who is qualified to measure the track itself, and he need to issue a certificate about the exact measurement of the track by centimeter.
If you're responsible for everything, you have to find
You are
out.
responsible for everything. You are responsible for providing everything. In addition to that, you need to provide the media coverage happen for the event, pictures and videos for everything happening. You know, there is no way to shit on them. There is
my
no way.
But can you find the partners before so they can help you or whoever you're partnering with to break the Guinness record, or how does it work? Can you find, because one person it might be hard. You're obviously you have your job, you have family. Like, how does it work? I'm actually trying to give to inspire other people who might want to break similar records, but you don't know where to start and how the process is.
Okay, the first thing you need to decide what you need to do, which record you need to break. So when you decide the record title and why you are doing that, you need to pursue the approval for the record. Based on the approval, you need to start reading the guidelines to know what you need to do and what you need to avoid. So after collecting this information, you should craft your plan and making like a stakeholders map, which resources I need, which teams I need, who will do ad club support like that, even who will support you financially, who will volunteer to be a witness, who will do photography. Yani, you need to start with a solid ground, which is the approval and the guidelines before starting attempting everything without reviewing the guidelines. Maybe at the end you will find I didn't break anything. You are not eligible for this record. And the most important thing about Guinness is following the rules and the guidelines, as it is a very strict process. It is very strict process. Usually, the process of breaking Guinness record, it is a 1 year process. It takes 1 year.
1 year.
Yes. 3 months is to receive the approvals, and I believe 3 months is maybe 4, based on the nature of the record, to do the planning and review the guidelines and this kind of stuff. And after the attempt, you need to wait for another 3 months to give them the time to review your evidence. So it is around 1 year process. Yeah, I called it like an MBA or something.
Takes a lot of guts.
Yes, it's very sophisticated.
Very interesting. So so far you've broken the record 3 times or 2 times?
7.
7 times.
Yes.
When was the first time? You lost me a little bit here. When was the first time and where?
First time in 2016, second one in 2017, than in 2021, and 2 records in 2022, and 1 record in 2023, and there is a recent one is the last month, 2024.
And that is the one when you went to Azerbaijan, right?
Yeah. Yes, it was the most cities visited on electric bicycle.
And the one before that, I'm curious about the one that where you
Yeah, sure.
24
But
hours.
there's that in 2023, which was during the ride to COP28. It was a ride that started from Egypt to United Arab Emirates. It was the most cities visited on electric motorcycle.
Wow.
And by the way, Guinness part is very technical. I just had an interview with one of most known TV channels yesterday. They were arguing about what is the difference. Both are an electric bike. I tried to explain the technical details is an important part here. Electric motorcycle is different from electric bike, as they have a categories.
What is okay? So it's too technical, but
Yeah.
the shape. Do they have different shapes, or just it's about
Nope.
power? The
A motorcycle, it is a vehicle operated by a motor, originally a motor. There is no human interaction here. You have a pedal. Yeah, it is like the engine is assisting the human who's right. That's the point.
That's very cool. I'm actually curious about the physical and mental preparation. Obviously, everything you've been telling me now in the podcast sounds great, but it sounds like there's a lot of effort put into the preparation, but also during the journey.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through or tell us a little bit more about how do you prepare before setting off, before going off on a journey? And how does it feel while you're inside, trying to break a record or going from your home city to where you're going?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the preparation first. Sure.
It is very difficult to explain a journey of 10 years of riding, but in 2 words, all what I can say, we have to accept and we have to adapt. Okay? Each ride to COP, it starts directly after the current COP. Today, we announced the ride to COP 30 in Brazil, by the way. Tomorrow is the last day of COP 29. And today, we announced the ride to COP 2030 with the initial road. So the ride to COP, which is also a Guinness World Record attempt, it is a process taken year. So the first thing is you need to be open-minded. You need to accept the challenges. You need to find the right cause you are trying to support, and you start to communicate with people who may support your initiative, or people who can volunteer with something, or service providers, or local communities. And while it take a year of planning and preparation, on what happened on the ground is totally different. First day, you will find that your plan will not work. Even if you invited a lot of experts to participate in your plan, it is reviewed by a number of partners. It is very solid. It is very professional. But what will happen on the ground is totally different. So you have to accept what's going on the ground, and they have to adapt with it. As if you didn't accept it and if you didn't adapt it, you will not be able to continue to the next day. So every day you have a new challenge to tackle. So
It's a bit of it's like a metaphor for life. It reminds me of life itself. It's a bit like living life, right?
yes. So every morning we have a new challenge. We need to figure out how we will figure it out. So I believe it is something become related to the mindset itself. If you don't believe on what you are doing, if you are not believing on your cause, I believe you will not, and you will quit it down in 3 4 days or something like that. It's very difficult on the ground. Like in the area of GCC countries, it was very extremely hot. We found that high temperature impacting the range of our bikes and impacting the power of the motor itself. The bike should reach 50 kilometer per hour, and due to the high temperature, we found it is hardly reaching 20. So imagine that you need to cross a road with a bike loaded with a lot of luggages, and you are speed on 20. It is very risky. So
Actually,
at such situations, we had to what?
no, I think we kind of. I think such a journey is also useful for the bike manufacturer. You
Yeah.
can get like about their own bike under extreme heat conditions?
Actually, my bike this year, I used a bike made in Africa. Okay, it is built in Ghana. It is the first African-made EV, which is built specifically for this region and for this weather. So using it on GCC countries was something not planned, but it performed well, and we managed to adapt with it. So when we found that the engine is hot or something like that, we found some chats breaking for 30 minutes, 40 minutes till it cooled down, and we can continue. That's the adaptation we need to learn with the conditions and the bike and our equipment. In some cases, we start before the sunrise from where we spend our night with a full charge, and we book another hotel when it is noon to take a rest and hide from the sun and recharge our bikes and starting again till the midnight. So the ride mainly it is about acceptance and adaptation. You need to accept whatever happening around you. At one of I believe in the part of Oman, I in one day I did around 300 kilometer on this bike, which is an achievement. And
Why is it an achievement?
the middle of the day, I got a flat tire. Right now, yeah. I found that the key I have is not the best fit to unscrew the tire. So I stopped behind the bike for 10 minutes thinking what I can do right now. Then I pushed the bike for around 2, 3 kilometers or something like that. Then I stopped. Suddenly I found that a local guy appeared asking me if I need help. He stayed with me. He provided the tools. He took me to a tire repair shop to fix the tire, and he returned it back me to my bike, attaching the wheel again. And I continued to the next country. So it is like a karma of life. It is hard to explain that. I had a German friend who joined the ride for a while. He was surprised about my mindset about the ride. You need to adapt with what is happening. You need to accept challenges happening. You need to be determined for your goal and for your cause. And many times I stop asking myself why I'm doing that. It is really, really hard.
Have you ever had moments of where you thought about giving up? But how do you push through then when
Yeah.
you think you have these kinds?
Okay. Actually, when you found that you don't have enough sleep every day, you don't have enough food every day, you need to spend the night uploading material, communicating with people, setting up what will happen next week with a lot of partners, and you become tired. You just have a moment like, why I am doing that in my life? It is very hard, actually, to be honest with you. It is really hard. But when you realize there is a lot of people waiting for you, there is a lot of change that you can lead, and there is an impact you need to deliver, you realize that there is no one else is mad enough to do that.
Takes a lot of mental
Yeah,
strength
yeah.
to be able to achieve it.
And to be honest with you, it took me years to be like that. It took me years to be like that. Yes.
So you started small and then you kept increasing the length or the distances that you drove. What was the highest temperature that you experienced in the GCC region?
48, I believe.
Yeah. So 50,
Yeah,
basically.
something like that. And I was riding during this moment. I was not sitting in a place. I was riding. I returned it with like a burns on my arms and my legs. Even if I was using a sunblock, it doesn't affect
It
anything.
worked.
So I had to change my clothes to be something with long arms and trouser instead of shorts and the shirts. It is usual. I was look very odd in this clothes on the bike, but my skin will not be able to take it anymore.
Oh, exactly. How do locals typically react when you roll into a town with such a unique mission, and also how do they react to you? And do you have any like memories of some like? Can you tell us some anecdotes or any human interactions that you might have had in Egypt or abroad?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let me tell you something first before the interactions. One of the greatest benefits from using an electric bike or electric motorcycle, it is the most vulnerable transportation method, which make you close to other people on the road. There is no windows, there is no doors. okay? You are on the street with people. So when you stop at any location, you will find people communicating with you, asking you where are you from, what you are doing. If you are on a car, no one will knock your door asking you where are you from or what you are doing, right? But with a lot of bags, with a helmet and freak setup, people will start asking where are you from, what you are doing, what is this kind of bike. So I believe it is like an attraction for people to start a communication with you. We had a lot of discussions on it. We had a lot of discussion. People asking, it is an electric bike? Yes, where it is from, how much it is, why you are doing that. So in each break, we had a discussion with locals. But what really affecting me from these stops and this communications that 90% of people we met on the road don't know about sustainability, don't know about climate change, don't know about anything of this. And unfortunately, these people still away of any development efforts. Like I figured out, I was believing that everyone could be a part of the solution and could be a part of a sustainable future. I found that a lot of people riding a bikes because they don't have a car. I found a lot of people still using vans on their shops or in their homes because they can't afford an AC. And I started to think, how come I ask these people to be a part of the solution? They are impacted by the climate change. Their life are ruined because of high temperature or other impacts or effects of climate change. That happened during the last ride. Riding the electric bikes makes me stop a lot, not like the motorcycle. I can sometimes I will drive my motorcycle for 1,000 kilometers in one day. So I go fast, 100 kilometers per hour or something like that. And when I stop for 20 minutes to charge the bike, but the e-bike need time. You need to
What is the maximum speed on an e-bike?
the recent e-bike was 40 or 50, something like that. But electric motorcycles, the maximum speed is 200 kilometers per hour. You can imagine the difference. So traveling on e-bike makes me more connected with people. Yani, seeing their life, what they eat, what they do, how they live. And this helped me to change my mindset about climate action on the world. Such people or such communities don't fly, don't have ECs, don't use emissions. These people are victim of climate change. That's why I am currently working on developing some activities on my initiative, something more than awareness. I believe that we don't need more awareness. We need more justice and we need more solutions. We need to deliver solutions for these communities to be able to live in such high temperature. We need to deliver adaptation methods for these people to be able to survive, and we need to work on more climate change. And not more, to be honest with you, we need to call for climate justice. I found that the most developing countries I visited is the most sustainable countries, by the way. And the most richest countries is the most unsustainable countries. And they are the most emissions producers countries. While I didn't need to be political here. I'm just sharing, you're reflecting, right?
Proves that you ground. So
Yeah. I'm talking from the experience on the ground, which I believe, it is not common to see things from this perspective.
anything that you can share? You just mentioned that you're working on something beyond just riding the bike and breaking records. Anything that you can share or not yet?
Yeah, you know,
Just a little teaser.
yeah. Actually, I just announced the right to COP30, which I believe will be more difficult as it will start from Baku in Azerbaijan. We had a press conference with the conference presidency at Baku announcing the right to COP30, which will be in Brazil by the end of next year.
How I like, by the way. Keep going. Just
Will ride from Baku till not. Let me remember the name. I just a second. I can cut this part. I was for just a second.
figure it out.
Lisbon, yeah. So we will ride around 10 most important capitals in Europe. Okay. Then we will ship.
Sorry. So are you gonna ride from Alex to Baku, or are you gonna take?
We will ride from Baku. But we start our ride from where Baku. Yeah.
Okay.
That is the start point. And the end point is the next COP. So we are starting from Baku till Lisbon, and we'll ship our bikes and our equipment to, yani we're still figuring out, even it will be Venezuela and right to Brazil, or shipping it directly to Brazil. It is depending on the shipping time. There is some details are still under discussion with the team.
And you're visiting 10 cities, 10 European cities on the way to.
We will visit almost the most important 10 capitals in Europe. Okay. What I have in my mind right now, it is, and Europe is already very far from in sustainability and the climate solutions, adaptation solutions. And I am coming from Africa and Middle East. So I would like to visit these capitals and these countries to share knowledge from Europe with other locations of the world, like what they are doing to tackle climate change, the adaptation technologies, the opportunities for youth to participate in any initiative. So I believe we did a lot in awareness. Most of people is talking about awareness for 10 years or something like now, or something like that. So I believe now we need to go for more actions or visible steps and visible actions. So I'm trying, still working with the team and brainstorming with our partners how we can drive more solutions from the right. Okay, how we drive more impact from the right to people on in this side of the world and other impacted countries. And I believe it is a good opportunity to be in Europe to raise our voices about climate justice, to raise the impact, to tell people more about the impact we witnessed in other countries during the past rise, even in 27, 28, 29. We found a lot of impacted communities. We met a lot of impacted communities, people who don't realize what's happening. Like someone is sick and he don't know what is going on with him. No one can diagnostic his illness. What is the right medicine for him? The people
Pollution?
would
Is that because of pollution? Like, can you give us a more tangible example of negative impact
sure.
that you've witnessed?
Okay, I will give you some examples from different regions. Like we visit people or we met people lost their agriculture due to the high temperature. We met people lost their homes due to high sea levels on some cities.
Races, can you mention as well the countries that you're mentioning, please, that you're talking about?
Sure, like in Egypt, we have been on an olive farm that lost 70% of their production due to high temperature. Okay. Damietta, we had a meeting with the governor who told us that the city lost 7 kilometers of its coastal land. 7 kilometers. You can imagine how many people should live in this area, or how many locations could be built on this area, and how much income could be generated for, or revenue created from this. So this is just some examples I can call right now. Not to mention the impact on health, the impact on mental health, not to mention the impact on different industries. Okay, on biodiversity, everything is impacted. Yani just I'm not trying to be a dark person here, but it is impacted in our life.
No. It's very interesting. And also, you were talking about fairness because it also impacts the competitiveness of those countries on a global scale, right? Like if it impacts industries, it's going to impact as well their competitive abilities vis-a-vis other countries and maybe in the West, in Europe.
Unfortunately, the most impacted nations are the most vulnerable nations. The most developing countries. They don't have the needed resources to overcome these challenges. They don't have the technology to overcome these challenges, and they don't have much knowledge to deal or to adapt with these challenges. So they are the most impacted communities, while they are the most emission reducing communities. Like Africa is reducing 4% of global emissions. 4%. As a continent, is 4%.
Bigger in Europe and
Yeah, don't tell me to reduce my emissions. Yani don't tell anyone in Africa to reduce his emissions.
that's actually very, very interesting. And I totally agree with you on this one. Do you think, because I've heard other people, proposing what I'm just about to say, but do you think Europe or the West, developed countries in the West should be maybe financially contributing to countries in Africa or developing countries in general, just to mitigate the negative impact that their industries have on
Yeah.
air.
Now, this topic is the main topic of COP29 and the COP27 and COP28 is financing damage, is the loss and damage fund, which is about asking countries producing emissions, creating emissions to support countries suffering from their emissions. Like a lot of lands lost due to due to the sea level increase, due to temperature. A lot of people died. A lot of farms died. So all the world is requesting from these countries is to financing the restoration of their impact. The main issue is it is not about climate action. I returned back from this journey with a lot of concerns about the world itself. There is no fairness. People already seeking to increase the GDP of their country, penetrating new markets, increasing their profits without any care or any concern is the impact of other people or other communities. If you are producing something in China, for example, it is impacting me in Egypt. And if you talk with people in China or the government, they don't care. I just need to increase my GDP. I just need to increase my control on the world. I need to produce more goods.
As cheap as possible. I don't care. And it can put you out of business, by the way. Like I've talked to businesses in Africa and Egypt even who say we cannot compete with China because they are so cheap, even cheaper, the labor sometimes because they produce on scale, they are much cheaper and they are putting them out of business. That's so maybe we shouldn't ask them to be following the same rules when it comes to the environment. What do you think? Like, should we ask get countries in Africa, for example, to abide by the same rules as countries in the developed world?
Yeah.
Like what? Yeah, I'm sure that's a big debate as well.
Yes, it is not a big debate, but I will share my personal point of view. It is not fair to ask African countries to follow Europe regulations. Okay, I can't do that. Okay, I don't have the resources, I don't have the technology, I don't have the sufficient fund to follow your regulations. Like recently in Egypt, some factories and organizations require to follow European regulations when it comes to emissions, and they had to reduce their emissions. Please tell me how I can reduce my emissions without a new technology like using a solar stations or a clean energy without fund. If you are putting more load on my shoulder, which I am already struggling to stay alive. Okay, you need to be like let's imagine that you are a customer for me, that you need to issue your environmental impact or carbon footprint report at the end of the year, and you need to report something called phase 3 report, which require you to report the emissions of your supplier. If I am a supplier for you, you are requesting from me to reduce my emissions. You got my point? To be able to export my goods or my products to you in Europe. Otherwise, I will not be able to export my products to you. So if you need me to reduce my emissions, I need to find a way to be able to to continue doing that. It is not logical, it is not fair, and it's not
Fair competition.
it is not sustainable at all. This is not the sustainability. You know, you are trying to achieve your goals while you are burying everyone else.
Who you think is should be in charge of leading this, in charge of making sure that things are being done fairly and that we're taking care of the planet? Obviously, it's a shared responsibility, but I'm sure there's a part of is it Europe? Is it North America? Is it the United States of America should be leading this?
It's everyone.
How can we change things really?
It's everyone. It's politics is controlling everything after economy. People just
Mm.
need to realize that what they are doing right now will impact the economy and will impact the politics. As you know, there is a lot of lives lost. What happened in Spain? It is one of the impact of climate change, by the way. Yeah, and I have been doing a small research about the impact of climate change on the economy during the 2024. I found it is more than $40 billion only. not to mention the number of life lost. So if people need to be more honest about what they are doing, it is not about commitment. It is not about a nice social media posts about activities we are pretending to do. It is not like that. People need to be honest with themselves. They are not employees trying to pretend that we are doing sustainability work or reducing our emissions. They need to realize that we are impacting people's lives.
Yeah.
That's the reason I believe once we have something like that on our wallet, we will start to see a change. A lot of global organizations trying to lead the change, but it is almost impossible to get everyone agreed on something. Like why we have COP, by the way, why have the United Nations Climate Change Conference? Just to negotiate, agree on what is the next step. The loss and damage fund, which was launched 2 or 3 years ago, till now, it
Yeah.
is, I believe, 5% of the fund received. 5% only of the fund received. So it is about like a commitments, announcements, and nice pictures. But on the ground, there is people losing their lives. So we need to be more human. You know, we need to be
Yeah. Businesses are losing as well. It's impacting their lives.
we need to be human. And leave the timing of this episode. You may be affecting my opinions and my opinion about the ride. As you know, I take around once after each ride to recover from the ride itself. Not from
Is it physically or mentally or in both?
mentally. Mentally, I thought of things on the ground which and affecting my mindset, my feeling about the world. Okay, again, I'm not trying to be gloomy here, but I'm sharing a unique experience, to be honest with you. And I'm trying not to cry about the current situation. I'm trying to find a solution. And I'm trying to inspire people to be the solution or to drive a solution or something like that. But to be honest with you, the current situation on the ground, it's not good.
So you think the change should start at an individual level or governmental level? Where should start?
Okay, if we look at the government, we will find they are individuals.
Yeah.
Okay, they are
They're just
individuals. Individuals, I still say individuals are the key, but to have the right key, they need to be aware of the right issue. It is not about waiting for my country during the negotiation while other countries are suffering. Okay. When you negotiate during COP or other governmental conference or discussions, you need to realize how many lives will be impacted from your decision. When you announce about we are issuing 100 blah 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 dollar blah X, you need there is lives for this. Their children future will be impacted if you didn't fulfill your commitment. That is the process. That is the issue. During the past 3 years, I have witnessed a lot of promises, a lot of commitments, a lot of initiatives that it is nice to see, but on the ground, I would love to see that.
yeah.
And you
I
can part if you want.
no, I understand you. Um, Speaking, we just talked about blah blah blah, and part of the glamour that we see and the photos that we talk about, we see them on social media. Now, social media can also be a good tool to actually raise awareness about different topics. I would like your top voice on LinkedIn. Obviously, you have tens of thousands of people following you, and I would like to ask you about how you use social media to bring attention to this topic and to your journey in general and goals in general.
Yeah. Actually, when it comes to social media, it is like a sword with two sides or with uses. You can use it to promote or to deliver local communities' voices, like what we are doing, sharing the impact of climate change on different communities, sharing updates about our ride, or you can using for greenwashing. Have you
Yeah,
heard about greenwashing?
yeah, but tell our audience about it. Few.
Yeah, or you can using for greenwashing. Some organizations and some companies realize that sustainability is something important for people. So they started to pretend that we are sustainable to retain or to attract a new
Oh,
client.
customers. Yes, part of branding, right?
It is a scam.
Is
It
that
is a double, by the way. It is a scam for the client who have some awareness and looking for a sustainable product and it's a scam for the community due to the bad impact it will deliver to the community. And but I believe the greenwashing concept for products started to be reduced. People become more aware about greenwashing. But I'm talking here about greenwashing for climate action. Okay.
Yeah.
A lot, boss. Let me be honest with you. A lot of organizations, thousands of organizations, trying to find a solution or trying to be a part of the solution. Okay, they
Yeah.
are trying to support number of initiatives, educating youth, providing technologies, many things. But at the same time, a lot of organizations pretending that they are doing a solutions.
Get attention.
Yeah, just to say that we are supporting a sustainable future.
We're part of the movement. Yeah.
We are the worst in sustainability. If a gas and oil company saying that we are okay. And by the way, I believe the gas and oil example here is the right moment to say to tell you about my point of view about fossil fuel. It is not okay to stop fossil fuel. A lot of climate activists or activists and he's saying, let's stop fossil fuel. Guys, the world will die without fossil fuel. Our life stop. The only moment when world stopped using fossil fuel, and we're still suffering from that till now.
Okay, can you repeat again? We lost you for a second.
Yeah.
Can you repeat the only moment?
The only moment the world stopped using fossil fuel was during the lockdown in COVID-19, and we're still suffering impact of that till now. Imagine that we will stop fossil fuel for 1 year. The world doesn't have alternative energies or solution to deliver you your food.
So,
Thus,
go on.
does it make any sense to ask the world to stop using fuel? Before doing that, you need to realize that the world will stop. Your life will impact it, your health, your food, your kids, everything. We just need to find the right equation of how we reduce the impact of fossil fuel and transit to clean energy.
You mean the right balance? You're right. Because many of those big companies actually are putting money into initiatives that have to do with the environment. Now the question is, are they serious about really a safe transition or not? And also, now with AI, many companies, even AI companies are like OpenAI, they are thinking about, I'm sure you've heard about it, building maybe nuclear like fusion and nuclear like power centers to keep up with the amount of energy that we need for computation power. So who knows? But would that be safe? That's a big question mark as well.
When it comes to oil and gas companies, they are trying to support initiatives, maybe startups, different kind of programs that working for to reduce emissions. It is good to do that. And I hope they are honest in doing that. And I would love to support them in doing that if they are honest about it, not just to say that we are saving the environment or we are doing our part. And a different opinion, the gas and oil companies, they are often not responsible for the emissions, who are burning the fossil fuel, who the person is responsible for the emissions. So
Very interesting one.
they are producing a raw material, by the way. So who is using the fuel itself, who is the responsible, as he is controlling when he will use it and how much you will use it, in which technology, in which engine, was in different situations. When it comes to new technologies like the AI and the amount of energy they are consuming to deliver such technologies, I believe the technology itself, it could be a part of the solution. Mainly, personally, I use a lot of AI tools in planning for my rides, riding my content, doing many things, which is something support all the humanity. But regardless, the amount of the energy used to power up these technologies, it comes on clear power. Okay, I don't have a clear opinion about this part as I'm not specialized in this kind of powers, but I believe mainly when we need to take a decision about that, we need to calculate the full impact of the solution. Like I was commenting on one of the TV channels about putting more iron on the ocean to accelerate the bacteria to create more oxygen. And some people say it is an innovative approach, but what will happen to the biodiversity life on the ocean? What will happen to the bacteria? What will happen to the fish? Maybe we will stop the ocean functionality to reduce more oxygen and to observe more carbon. I'm totally fine with new ideas, with new approaches, but we need to be fully understanding the full impact of it. Like the cooling process of this power planets or something like that, if it is already using like a seaside location or something like that, well, what is the impact on biodiversity life from the differentiation of the water temperature? I'm not sure, okay, but they need to do.
Nice. When someone like you living in Alexandria on the Mediterranean Sea, so it's very important as well to think about these things.
It is very important, especially that the sea marine life is totally impacted by the high by the rise of the temperature, by the way. In Egypt, in Alexandria, in my city, I can tell you how the city is impacted during the past few years. We can see the impact anywhere. If you visited Alexandria recently, it will not be easy to find a place for your chair and umbrella on the beach. It was like 100 kilometer. Currently, it is not like that. It is hard
Oh,
to
so it's not the number of people, but it's the beaches are smaller.
size. Yes, yes. The water level is increasing.
Oh,
We can tell that, it is not a study or a statistics. Before that, it was like walking for 100 meter to reach the water. Currently, once you cross the street, you can put your legs on the water directly. And the government is putting a lot of blocks, changing many things to protect the infrastructure, also, which could be destroyed by such water, not only losing the sand part, but the infrastructure could be impacted. That's it. It is very sophisticated topic, by the way, impacting everything in our life.
and we can't just put the blame on oil and gas
No,
companies.
so no.
People tend to do this, and I have friends working for in oil companies, and embarrassed to say that they work there, but I think we should it joint effort. It's a joint responsibilities, and all of us, everyone on an individual, corporate, and the government levels, you should contribute to this.
Everyone is responsible.
Yeah.
Everyone is responsible. Even when I use my car, I am responsible. Okay. When I use my bike, I'm responsible. When I
Leave the car on sometimes, and just because the gas is cheap, I've seen it. Example,
only one lamp unused for usual, it is responsibility, by the way. And that's what I'm teaching my children. Don't leave the printer, even the printer, don't turn it on if you will not use it. Don't leave the light on if you will not use it. And not only the electricity, all the resources on the planet.
yeah, it's like not wasting food, and it's the same thing. Don't waste water. Don't waste.
Yes. Don't waste anything.
Um, the Egyptian government there's a minister of the environment. Have you been in touch with them? Did they support you in any way?
Yeah. For Yasmin Fuad, yeah, I have been in contact and working with the Ministry of Environment during the past years. How many times we still need Moses? Sorry for
Maybe 5 minutes, 5 10 minutes.
okay, 5 10 minutes. 5 10 أو 10 maximum 10 minutes. ماشي حاضر
Certainly matters.
that. That's
So yeah, so Ministry of
the
Environment.
Ministry of Environment, Dr. Yasmin Faad. We have been working with Her Excellency for the past 4 years or something like that. Also, we have been working with the Ministry of Youth and Sports in Egypt, the League of Arab States, UNDP, UNICEF.
Shout out to all of them. More names, like just to give them a shout out here in the podcast.
Okay, during the past 3 4 years of our activities, we have been in partnership with the Ministry of Youth and Sports, Ministry of Environment, the Ministry of Economy and Planning, and the League of Arab States, NDB, UNICEF, a number of private sectors like EDCB Bank, Marrakech Real Estate, Pirelli for tires, Energica Motors for the motorcycle, Wahoo Mobility for the recent electric bike. Yani that's what I can call right now. We have a long list of partners.
After once the ride to 2030 concludes, once you finish once you ride to the next COP, what's the next big thing for you? Have you been thinking about it? Do you have a plan? Is in?
Okay.
I'm sure you have. You strike me like the guy who thinks long term.
Yeah, actually, I have two things to tell you about. During the after the ride to COP28, we have been selected as one of the most important 15 initiatives in tackling climate action all over the world by COP28 presidency. So we made a commitment, thank you, that our ride will continue till year of 2030. So our ride to COP will continue till 2030. Hopefully by this date, we have a full round around Earth
Okay.
until 2030. On the other side, on my professional career, I founded two startups working on environmental solutions. One of them called the ESG Ant. It is an information technology company providing sustainability solutions using artificial intelligence uh, tools. In nutshell, we are helping people to be sustainable and starting from reporting their emissions and their impact, putting a strategy to tune this impact, and putting them on the right road to be a sustainable business. Currently, we have a large list or long list of partners in Egypt and expanding to other regions like GCC and Africa. And we have another company which is specialized in decarbonization projects. It is like يعني, the same, it is like a sister company. Personally, soon I am starting something called Middle East and Africa Sustainability Studio. Figured out that we need to create sustainability in a creative way. The concept of venture capital studios and the concept of creative studios or photography studios or something like that. So I'm starting something in a concept called Middle East and Africa Sustainability Studio. It's a studio to produce and to support sustainable solutions. Even it is a startup creating something with a new mindset, actually, to be honest with you. It's not just a competition or mentoring or something like that. We need to create a real solutions on the ground with a solid impact and a clear impact. Then sustainability will live in three or four main pillars. One of them is agriculture, clean energy, and the youth empowerment in green skills. That is the main areas we are targeting right now. We are about to announce about the studio in maybe at the beginning of the next year in a partnership with well-known organizations globally and regionally. In addition to my current assignment as Obama Leader Africa, with my connection with four leaders from different African countries, we are trying to drive a different
Change.
kind of change. It's a change, but I believe that traveling with motorbike can make very sensitive for people and for their life. So I'm always keen to drive something for people life. As I believe the riding and the traveling over the past years, it changed me a lot. And I can't recognize myself now. So as I mentioned,
All levels, I'm sure. Sure, it was on all levels, like spiritual, mental. So you learn a lot about yourself, about the world, as you mentioned before.
and in addition to that, you're creating a new connections in different country and you get new ideas.
Human.
Yeah, that's why I say that the ride is a framework of action.
Yeah.
A framework connecting people together. And by the way, it happened many times that we connect partners together during the ride to work together in different projects, different initiatives, delivering voices on. And one of the things, what I love on the ride, we share success stories, by the way. We share startup success stories, community success stories. We are trying to exchange in knowledge and information between communities. I believe that is the only way to survive to this.
Totally. You hit the nail on the head. Um, for the venture studio, are you still welcoming partners? I'd be happy to put you in touch with a few companies working in the sector in Europe and beyond. Are you still
Yeah,
welcoming?
we are drafting or finalizing it's a legal framework, as I believe it's something new. We don't have something similar in the region. As you know, being in Egypt, we don't have the concept of social enterprise. We don't have the concept of social enterprise in Egypt. So you have only two options. The first one is to be a nonprofit or NGO. And the second one is to be a company. So we don't have the social enterprise concept legally in Egypt. So we're still trying to figure out what is the legal nature of our organization to be able to work with different organizations, as I'm coming from a long experience from CSR. manager in multinational company. Companies are not allowed to receive grants, even it's kind on cash, and the NGOs come with a lot of restrictions and monitoring and control from the responsible organizations. So we are trying to figure out a legal structure that give us a flexibility to work and create something new. You can imagine that you are creating something totally new from all perspective, and you need to figure out how you can do it.
Can be harder than riding an e-bike through deserts, and just navigating the bureaucracy is not that easy.
After every ride, I started to browse the pictures and I asking myself how I survived it. Yeah, actually, there was a really tense situations on the ride. At some moment, in one of the big city I visited, I have to call for a pickup to take me to the other side of the road due to the traffic. You can imagine that I am stuck for 1 hour, even to cross the road. So the ride is like it's a best way to learn.
Really starting like registering your venture studio is going to be probably as hard, if not more, than riding the bike. So imagine how hard it was. How do you want people to remember? This is my last question to you. I know your time is limited. How do you want people to remember your legacy and as an advocate for this topic?
It's a tough question, by the way.
Topic of sustainability, the environment,
Yes.
life.
Yeah, what I need people to remember about what I'm doing is that everything is possible, even if we thought it is impossible, if we work it together and if we believed on it. Everyone we told him about the right, he said it's impossible. During COP29, I was telling people about the right to COP30, and everyone tell me, "Are you sure it is possible?" Guys, I did it 3 times before. It is not the first time for me. So I just need people to remember about me that everything is possible. If we really need to do it, if we work it together, we can achieve it. Even the climate change issue, it is possible to tackle this issue if we are honest about what we are doing and we really need to tackle this issue. That's what I need people to remember.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being with us today. I'm looking forward to part two, where you can tell us more about some of your anecdotes on the road. I'm sure you've lived tons of them.
Yes.
I'd love to be part of your preparation towards Brazil next year. That would be great to cover. And yeah, thanks. Where can people follow you or find you online?
Okay. Just search Ali Abdo, ALIABDO. You will find me on all platforms. Mainly, I'm active on LinkedIn, yani more than other platforms. But you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, I believe other AI, Twitter, which is X right now. You can find me anywhere. So just search for Ali Abdo, ALIABDO.
Was there anything else that I should have asked you but I didn't ask?
No, I didn't think so. If you remember something, we can have another call, by the way. يعني I would love to. I tried to be لسه بنذاكر
I
خلاص.
can come.
يعني that's it. يعني I just need people to believe that we can be the change, by the way. We can lead the change. I remember when I started my first ride, I was looking for a sponsor to support my ride. He told me, "Who are you? Why I should support what you are doing?" I can remember this word now, and I am really happy that I heard this word, as it helped me to realize how I can boost what I'm doing to take it to the next level. Currently, we have more than 40, 50 partner top level organizations all over the world working with us and supporting our work. So don't give up. Just to be smart, you need to belong to something. And my advice for any young person who is trying to do something, don't work again. Don't work alone. Don't play alone. Try to find a group who believe in what you are doing. Try to find the partners to support your work, and try to communicate what you are trying to achieve. As you know, the feed from different people will help you to develop and refine what you are doing.
That's a very inspiring and powerful message to end the episode with. You need to be consistent. Don't work on your own. Look for other people to help you support your vision and believe in your dream, which is very important.
If you
Actually,
don't play
I was just gonna say that your message actually is very inspiring. And for anybody anywhere in the world, this is that's what life is about.
Yes.
And it applies to anything in life, all aspects of life.
Yes, that's true. That's true. You just need to believe in yourself, on your work, and the world around you. If you are not believing, you will not achieve anything.
No, exactly. Thank you, Ali.
Thank you, Moses. I really appreciate your time and the opportunity.
Thank you. Bye.